All right, so we've got a 2017 Dodge Durango here. We don't typically hand cut them, typically plot them, but I figured why the heck not, have a little fun. We're gonna do these two front windows. We're gonna hand cut them. Start to finish. Try to work kind of slow. Maybe I'll make this easy on everybody. All right, let's go. So the first thing I do when I hand cut any type of two front windows is measure it. So we're definitely good height wise. So I'm at my end there, but what matters is this, because if I measure it here and I pull it out, then it's like, okay, so now we're gonna have a gap. So waste a little bit of film if you need to. I do, because I've wasted too much film trying to cut things too close. So like I'll literally pull this, I don't know, 36, 37 inches and just have plenty to work with. So I buy 40-inch rolls. I could buy 36-inch rolls and get away with like almost everything, but I just don't. It's not that much more money for me to go ahead and just get a 40-inch roll because too many times I pull like a transit in, doing a full inch. I don't know, just things happen where it's like I just wish I had a little bit more. So I buy 40-inch rolls. It takes too much space to stock 36 and 40, so I go 40. So lengthwise, so if I'm pulling out, which I do by 20s, so I could be doing one at a time out of 20s, but we'll do it this way. So essentially I'm gonna roll my 40-inch roll to my mark. We can go 36, we can go 37 or whatever. I've got a little table. You can use a tape measure, whatever you wanna do. But we'll go long, we'll cut it, and then it's just so much easier to do two windows at the same time, plus it makes the film thicker. I like cutting out two windows at once, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'm gonna rip this. That window height-wise is, I don't know, 17 inches or something like that, so we're just gonna guess. So I can kind of come up, we're just gonna rip this in half. Is it perfect? No. Is it perfect for this scenario? Absolutely. So the way that Expel's film works is the liner is going to be on the top of how the film rolls out. So there's some manufacturers that put the liner on the bottom, so you'll have to check and see what film you've got and where the liner's at. But I know my liner is on the top right here. So you're staring at the liner. So we will. So we're just gonna set this up right here. And I've got, that's my straight edge right there. I'm gonna lock my thing down real quick since we'll be cutting on it. All right, so liner on top. So this, we're doing the opposite. And the reason why I go liner down, liner out, so the liner's facing that way on this piece liner's gonna be facing that way, because they're opposites. So when we go crazy and we start squeezing on this thing, it's the liner side. So we don't have to worry about damaging it, that sort of thing. Now I could take a bunch of time and line up this straight edge, and sometimes I will. I don't know, man, like, it's just probably a waste of time, but you can line it up perfectly right there, like that. Squeeze it down, and then when you lay it right here, you don't have to cut the bottom, and that's perfectly fine. But in case you've got some rough cut or something like that, I mean, shoot, I'll go ahead and leave it lined up, but I'll still cut that bottom just to show you how I do it. So you're just gonna squeeze. You put a little bit of pressure because you don't want them moving, because you're gonna cut them at the same time. So I'm gonna pop a blade because I do it constantly. So we're going to wet this outside. And we're gonna take both of our pieces. Looks like I'm gonna have to pause in a sec. So we're gonna take both of them, and we can see we're gonna leave it long right here, which I did line mine up. So technically I could slam it, boom, done. We don't have to mess with the bottom, assuming it's perfectly straight. But we're gonna cut the bottom for fun. So I'm a little bit long, and let me pause because Okay, so we're back. Now we're gonna throw this up here. And like I said, we could straight edge the bottom, but for demonstration purposes, we won't. We'll try to complicate it a little bit. Wet it, just tack it. Just make sure it doesn't go anywhere. And we're gonna get ready. I'm gonna cut the bottom first. So it doesn't have to be, you don't have to start at the perfect location. You don't want to start where it's too close, you're going to end up creasing it. Put too much pressure right there, boom, it's creased, and it's going to be funky. It's not going to want to lay well. And you're just trying to find the bottom. So I'm just going to kind of, I know where it's at. Like, we're pretty dadgum close right there. And then we're just going to kind of glide across right there. So since we just cut right there, right on top of the seal, and then pulled down, and I didn't go to the end, but that's okay, because we're going to take it over to the transfer board, and we're going to finish it up. A lot of people do this a lot of different ways. This is the way I've always done it, and I like it better than everybody else's way. I don't like cutting on seals and stuff. I do that bottom one, and I never have any issues. But I'm gonna pretty much scratch the tint where I want to take it to my transfer board and then cut it. So I'm going to cut this. Let's see if we can get a camera angle right here. Can you see like where that seal's at? Like you see where the seal is? Mm-hmm. Is that showing up? Okay. A little bit. So I'm gonna make my mark. Let me go ahead and make my 2 marks, and then we're going to try to find them. So I'm just holding, I just use my phone light. It's just habit. And I'll show you if it doesn't come up in the camera. I'm essentially scratching the film about that far from the edge. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So I'm just essentially putting a scratch and I like to get rid of my excess here. I just do, just less to see, less to work with. Do we have a key to this thing? Yeah. Let's see. Just gonna be careful, but we're gonna pull the film off that seal. Roll the window down right now, it's not gonna go very well. So we're just gonna pull, but we're anchored here, and you don't wanna mess that up. So I'm just gonna kind of pull that out a little bit. We're gonna just bump it down a bit. And that's probably good. All I'm trying to do is get to where the glass is accessible and I can cut that reveal. So you just want to be kind of gentle with the film. Here, shut it, because apparently it freaking wants to shut. So you can kind of see where the top edge is. So I like to start down here. So I can feel the top of the edge, right? So I'm actually gonna go high. I'm going high. Some people don't. Maybe they can just slide their thing in there and be perfectly fine, but so I start, and then we're just going to, we're just following the top of the edge of the glass. Nice fresh blade, and boom. Didn't go all the way to the end here, and I'm kind of long right here, and some people like to come in here and they can do that and touch it up, and it really doesn't matter, you can. But that's all I do from there. I come over here. And if you don't have a transfer board, like maybe this method's not for you. This method's just so dadgum easy. It's so not complicated. I hate the whole mobile setup of tinting off of your car and peeling off of it. And so it works great for some people. I know some very successful people that do it that way. I just don't. I know I'm making this look slow, but it's really not as slow as.
So with that, what are you just lining?
So I took my scratches. I guess I probably should have shown that. You can kind of see where one was right there, and I had a little scratch right here, and then I just lined my straight edge up on it. So here, you see these scratches right here? Like that's what my scratch looks like. That's a weird. That came out freaking weird. So you have these, you have stuff like this, like where we started that. I'm telling you, it really doesn't make a dadgum difference. It's gonna be below the seal. You can smooth it out or you can not, whatever you wanna do, don't matter. So you've got here, we didn't go down to the end. That's okay too. You know the general direction it's gonna go, it's gonna be below the seal. So boom, you can kind of make it funky and ugly. It doesn't matter. This one matters, that one matters, everything else, don't overthink it. So we're just gonna round this out a little bit. You can trace your finger, you can do whatever you wanna do, but we'll just trace your finger. So we got this right here, and like using a fresh blade will help, but same thing, like you know the general direction. So you're coming down, and if the problem is like if you do this while it's on the glass, you might come in at a different angle and cut it differently. So it's just easier for me to just come in here and keep it straight. So now you have two patterns. So we're gonna separate them because we do still have to shrink them. So we've got our two patterns. We're gonna separate them. Careful you're not pulling the liner off of it. But you know the liner's facing you on that top one. So we're gonna come in here. And a little bit of a gap here, a little bit of a gap here, long there, so we can kind of focus where we want to shrink it. We're trying to create some fingers right here because, like, I don't know if you've ever installed film and you keep getting fingers up, it keep popping up. It's because the glass is not flat, it's curved. It's like putting a piece of paper on a basketball. Like, it just doesn't work. And sure, you can eventually go back to it when it's outside drying and squeeze it down. And then go back out there 20 minutes later, you got another one. And you're playing whack-a-mole with it, which is fun, except for every time a finger pops up, it's gonna suck up water and contamination and stuff. So you're gonna get the fingers out, and then it's gonna look like you have like contamination and speckles and everything all inside of it. So that's why we shrink stuff. So we can come over here. We're gonna stage this one as well, because like when you cut like that, you've got both windows done. All right. So grab a heat gun. Doesn't take much. doesn't take much heat. And you can kind of wet it. That way your hard card kind of slides. You can take, I mean, you can about shrink with anything. As far as cards go. You can use that card. You can use this card. Like it don't stinking matter. What else we got? Think we can shrink with a little chiseler? Probably better not.
What about your orange crush?
Yeah, you can use your orange crush. So all we're doing is dusting some heat and then get rid of it. You don't have to overdo it. I mean, like most front windows aren't going to create that much fingers. I mean, sometimes vehicles will, like some Dodge Rams and stuff like that, for whatever reason, every once in a while, those fingers, because I mean, especially on stuff like that, we're shrinking to the sides. And they make big fingers when you shrink to the side. It's just a lot of material going one direction. But that's ready for install. That's done. It's cooked. It's ready. Like I said, like you can make this as ugly as you want. You can do like cool little designs and stuff like that. It's the beautiful part about the bottom and stuff. But take a little time on this and this because it kind of matters. But like I said, as long as this is under the thing, like you can, it doesn't really matter. Let's go. I guess we'll probably cut this one and probably do another one on install.
Turn it.
Yeah, let's do that.